It's where the magic happens. Conversations flow and the laughter snapping. Here at Netter's Network, where the stories come alive. Every episode's a journey, every guest a drive. Netter's Network, tune in for the show, where the headlines meet the heart, and we all get to know. From the highs to the lows, we've got it all in tow. Netter's Network, where the world's on the go.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Netter's Network Thursday Things. I have a very special guest waiting in the green room, but before I bring him on, let me introduce to you my co-host for tonight. You know him as that guy at the end of the bar, the love of my life, Telly. And I'm wondering, is he the love of anybody else's life besides mine?
I wouldn't know. I shouldn't imagine so.
How you doing tonight, sweetie? What are you sipping on?
I'm doing great. Just having a diet grapefruit soda. Tomorrow, however, I am having a solid adult beverage. Solid because I'm going to freeze it and eat it like a popsicle.
Did you realize that
alcohol doesn't freeze? I know. Don't ruin the joke.
And of course, I've got, what was this one? A Meyer brand sparkling water berry flavor.
There you
because
go.
Water is my drink of choice usually. Okay, we have people in the chat that have actually showed up. It's nice. It's like I got peeps.
Yeah.
First one up at 7:22 was Mark Malnikoff. Kapla. I claim first space in the chat on behalf of the Klingon Empire. Kapla. Cry havoc and let's slip the Netterbots.
Yes, exactly. How are things going at the dilithium mines tonight, my friend?
Yeah. And there's that Netter's person saying hello to that Troy guy. There's that Troy guy saying hello to that Netter's person.
The guy behind the camera. Yep.
And of course, we got Big Al Presents. Hello, my friends. Hope you're having a great stream, or hope you have a great stream.
Yep. Looking forward to hanging out with you on Saturday over Lord of the Rings, Ralph Batchke.
Yes. We have Connie Cleary saying hello to the chat.
Mm-hmm. Welcome, welcome.
Mark Malikoff saying Curtis Selby raid.
Yeah. Curtis Selby, and it's a while before we see a Curtis Selby sighting.
Connie Cleary says Tired Midnight Blogger raid.
Awesome. I hope it was a great show.
How you doing, sweetie? Also saying Tired raid.
Yes. It's a tired raid. We come in all blurry-eyed, rubbing our eyes.
And we have deleted scenes with his
salute, my friend.
Like, share, subscribe, become a member.
Yes, absolutely.
I appreciate that. Let's see. I know this guy, Basco Scenerio.
We're going to introduce you to him in just a moment.
Yeah. Let's see, who else do I have in here?
Curtis Selby.
It's like I know he's in here. Okay, I know. I just saw him. Where'd he go? There he is. Curtis Selby, how you doing?
Glad you are here. We were just saying I was hoping you would be here because I think you'll be interested in this conversation tonight, specifically what we're going to talk to Basco about right from the beginning.
Talita said, the guy who watches you while you sleep. Not words you want to hear.
Exactly right.
Well, we kind of live together, so...
Yeah.
You know, really? You watch me sleep? And of course, you know, if you see me looking kind of up, I'm looking at Troy, who's about 4 feet in front of me.
Because I'm literally the guy behind the camera.
Or if I tilt my head to the side, because his monitor is just cutting off his face, and I like to look at him when I'm talking to him. So sometimes I'll tilt my head to look around his monitor.
So we were talking to our guest in the backdrop, and, you know, Netter does this all the time. She goes through, you know, the rules. And I realized that Netter's been trying to help me deal with, you know, what I say on stream. And not only that, but Mark is telling me that that the love of his life has been listening to the show and saying, ooh, that Troy, what a mouth on him. Oh, all the cursing. I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess I got to get that in under. So far, YouTube hasn't, demonetized any of my streams for use of the F word, but it's only a matter of time.
I'm waiting for Troy to go to his channel, and there'll be a pop up there with the fingers going like this, going naughty, naughty, potty mouth.
Oh,
I hate that. There are a lot of these videos that I'll come across, like shorts on somewhere on Facebook, somewhere on YouTube, where somebody doing like how to do something better type of thing, and they'll be like, they'll do one way that most every people do. Like, for example, if you open up a bag of like, frozen vegetables or something, and then usually you just kind of like, twist it around, put a twist tie on or something like that. And they'll go, It's like, oh, stop.
Oh, see, I was thinking of Nedry from Jurassic Park. But yeah, that's supposed to be.
No, but they do that in every single video. It's like, I'm going to break your finger.
Well, let's not keep our guests waiting too long. Speaking of being annoying.
I could be annoying with my string.
Well, that is true. I cannot argue that.
But without further ado, let me introduce to you our special guest for tonight, the Basco Scenario. How you
Welcome
doing tonight,
back.
Telly? And what are you sipping on?
It's been a minute, actually. But like I said, real life comes into the, taking appointments and being on other people's shows and even trying to do content on your own channel. It prevents you from sometimes doing
They
that.
say real life is what happens when you're making other plans. Let me tell you.
True. And how you guys? Thank you for inviting me back, and it's awesome to be here. And the chat's always jumping in this place, and the conversation's always great.
Right. Well, I super appreciate that. That's really good to hear. I think Netter's got herself if it's not a great show, it's definitely got a great deal of potential. I happen to be biased, so I really shouldn't be making that kind of a judgment. But so normally we would be starting out with a returning guest saying, okay, so hey, what's been happening with your channel? How much have you grown? But then I'm looking at your stats and I'm like, dude, what happened?
Oh, and this is you for every single person in the chat right now to click on the link that is pinned to the top of the chat.
Yes.
Go over to Basco Scenario and make sure you're still subbed. And if you're not subbed, maybe you've never subbed, sub now. This is an injustice.
And I will also point out, although we don't always do this, I'm going to try to get better about this. Not only is the link to his YouTube channel pinned to the top and in the description below, but also in the description below, we've got his Twitch and actually, I don't remember what all.
Hold on, I'm going there.
It's Twitch and Rumble, I think. And
Twitch, Rumble, Twitter.
There you go. And unfortunately, they're not links. You're going to have to copy paste them because I forgot the little HTTP at the beginning. But you guys know how internet works, right? We'll get that updated later. But that being said, you guys go do all the follow things while Basco, what happened?
So what happened is I went a little bit against the grain and the fandom.
What did you do?
Well, it's simple. I did a show. I have a show every Wednesday called The Hangout. Well, it's me and my crew. We talk about pop culture, things that are happening. And sometimes random things that just come to mind, right? But this particular show that I called it basically that, Star Wars is dead on Disney Plus.
Right.
Right. It was during this whole acolyte thing that was happening and
absolutely.
It just, I was always a person that was always hanging on to hope. But during that time, I felt like besides Andor that has potential coming up in a couple of weeks or next week, I believe, which was a great series. I wasn't impressed with it. And I was not that vocal about it. That's pretty much, I just, I just said that they've hurt, that IP so much to people that were hanging on for hope that there's not much hope and there's zero excitement, for what's coming out. And all of a sudden,
that doesn't seem too radical. I mean, it's not only the truth, but I mean, it's what just about every other channel is saying.
All of a sudden, I got a drop like a 40, 50 subs. And then all of a sudden after that, I lost 100, 200. I went from 1.3K back to 850. And then I slowly got up to 883. I think I'm at 884 right now.
Dude.
And yeah, and it's been
bullcrap.
steady, and it's been steady at that for that amount of time. But like I said, and I said this to my friend Danny and stuff like that, you know what? I came to realize that I do this more for the community that I've got to meet, and
Yeah.
and just getting together with my crew on Wednesday and just, you know, shooting the breeze and enjoying our company and enjoying the chat, because you know, I
dig it. You're
average
absolutely right.
Yeah.
what I noticed though during that time is I was starting to get more views and more watch hours after I got that reduction of subs. So it was kind of weird.
So let me ask
That
you a
is
follow-up
weird.
question, but first, Netter, if you want to
Yes. Geek Flag with Nate gave you $5 super chat saying welcome back. And Netter, your hair looks lovely tonight.
and he's absolutely right. I literally said that before, well, even before our guest got into the green room. I was like, well, yeah, nice. But so that makes me wonder then, do you think maybe it has less to do with what you said than maybe just YouTube doing one of its purges and getting rid of a bunch of like bot type followers?
That's also what I thought, because during that time I did speak to a buddy of mine that also lost a couple of like over 150 subs. But that was a huge hit that I took. Well, maybe it was just inactive accounts. And I know a lot of times if, you know, people that are sub don't comment or like anything for X amount of time, YouTube usually just unsubs them.
Yeah.
So,
and let me explain to the general audience. You'll probably you look. I'm probably not telling you anything you guys either don't know or wouldn't have known if you thought about it for a moment. Anyone who's been around the social medias knows how this goes. I see it on X on a freaking daily basis. I'll see all the comments from people that are responding to something I said, or, you know, liking something that I said. And then all of a sudden I'll see so-and-so Mick Who's-a-majigger just subscribed to you. And I'll look and it's some like Asian girl all skimpily dressed.
Yeah.
And you look at her page and she's posted nothing. She's, you know, following a bunch of people. She's got, you know, one person following her, and it's like, oh yeah, and it just started yesterday. I'm like, that's a bot. And then you wait a couple days and you get a direct message from her that's spam, so you got to block her. I say her, but I'm sure it's literally a bot, you know.
yeah.
And
got a lot of
and
those on
I'm
Twitter. Yeah.
And I think you get a lot of the same things on YouTube, but it's just a little bit harder to see on YouTube, because I don't know if you've noticed this, but Netter and I have noticed this. We'll see like a little uptick in our followers, but we won't see, you know, if you go to, you know, who subscribes to you, you see like one or two. It's like, well, where's the other 10 that subscribe to me?
Yeah.
And I know that it has something to do with settings, whether or not people can see, you know, that you follow them or whatever.
Like something like if their account isn't public, then you can't see them and things like that.
I don't know. But then sometimes I'll look and say, okay, who just followed me? Okay, and I'll go to their channel and they've got, well, it's not a surprise to find they don't have any content, because I think there's a lot of people, you know, on YouTube that are just here to watch stuff and follow people.
That's right.
And they're not there to put stuff. But, you know, they don't have any followers. They're not really following that many people. And it's like, I've never seen them in the chat.
It creates that shadiness, right? You push that doubt.
It really seems that's got to be a bot, and I don't know what the value of that is. I'm sure someone else knows, but I know there's a lot of them out there. And when things get purged, I'm like, well, you know, like Doomcock always says, double check, make sure you're still subscribed, because it does happen to people.
Yeah, absolutely.
But generally, the people that are here, you know, in the chat on a regular basis and say, I didn't get a notification, first thing I say, go check and see if you're still subscribed. Oh, I was unsubscribed. There you go. Hit that notification bell.
It's like I had gotten an uptick in subscribers when I changed my avatar to what we call my smolder.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I ended up getting a bunch of ones from, I want to say it was Vietnam or something. And it's like, okay, I guess they like, because in that particular picture, I've got really short, dark hair.
Oh, you're so
It was a
sexy.
modeling session I'd done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I
Like,
misread. It's funnier the way I misread this. I thought that deleted was saying she's probably Al. Oh, you mean AI? Okay, that's different. Or alt accounts that people brag about and use
To troll
to
people.
troll
True.
people. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. This is why one of the things that I was saying to our guests back in the green room. I'm like, look, if you're going to troll, pay the toll. I don't have to read your comment if you're not dropping a super chat, but if you drop a super chat, okay, well, you paid the troll to, the toll to troll.
Yeah. At one point, I thought my loss had to do with the tariffs. It's like I had too many American followers. And it's like this Canadian can have American followers.
Now there is the other hypothesis that you put forth, right? That maybe a lot of people were specifically offended. I doubt that's true, because like I said, it sounds like what you said is pretty much what most people in our sphere are saying anyway. Most people on YouTube are saying. Even now, most of the mainstream media is starting to say that about Star Wars.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But my thought still is, if you've been around for any length of time, you don't know what this channel's about, and I say something that offends you, that's fine. You leave. More people will eventually come that do want to hear what I have to say, and it just builds a better community.
Oh, absolutely. And my show's like, we like a lot of times all of us, we don't agree on things, right? Like,
Yep.
a lot of people on my channel
Those are better
really,
channels.
really loved Brave New World, right? They really enjoyed it, and that's great. If you liked it and you found amusement from it, that's great. But I was really like,
You talking
on the
about that
fence.
Star Trek thing?
No, Captain America, Brave New World.
Oh, I'm sorry.
New World
Yeah.
Order. Sorry, New World Order. I think it was. Oh yeah, New World Order.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And to that I say, midget, please.
Yeah.
Now,
Midget,
Captain
please.
and the Winter Soldier.
I
or
have
whatever.
told people about
Falcon.
this like so many times where I'll just randomly say, midget, please. I just dropped the link to where that is from.
Yeah.
It's a comedian called Brad Williams. He is a little person.
A lot
midget,
of you guys
whatever. He calls
probably
himself a
know him.
midget,
He
so,
is so funny.
He is hilarious. I figure if he calls himself a midget, I'm going to call him midget.
He literally has a whole routine, not necessarily that specific one she shared, but he goes off on.
It's hilarious.
You don't speak for all midgets. I'm a midget. I said I'm a midget. I can call you a midget if I want to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm short. I'm only 5'4", so I'm a shorty.
I don't think that makes you a midget.
No, it doesn't make me a midget, but it does make me a shorty. I have no problem.
But you are fun sized.
Yes.
Well, from my perspective. Anyway.
But I have no problem with anyone calling me short because I'm short,
And welcome, Darth Plato. Good to see you. What do we got here? We got liking something is fair game, but that is different from a legit critique. And that's fair game too. Yeah, look, I mean, what was it? Just the other day. Last Friday, Boomer and I were talking about Doctor Who, specifically Peter Davison, Colin Baker, and Sylvester McCoy. And Netter and I were quick to share that we really did not like Colin Baker when he first started. And we had some legitimate gripes, and we literally stopped watching Doctor Who at that point. Yeah. But since then, we've revisited it with a bit more information, a little bit more behind the scenes, and actually having talked to Colin Baker himself, who legitimately apologized. And he said, I didn't like it either. I did the best I could. And we revisited
even admitted that he got a lot of really crap scripts. And he goes, I didn't have a lot to work with. I did my best. He goes, I am so sorry.
And look,
I mean, he was getting hate mail, death threats. It's like,
if you
dang.
are truly intellectually honest, you will look at the things you are most nostalgic about and go, but it's not perfect, right? You know, I hold every version of Superman up to the Christopher Reeve Superman, specifically Superman 1 and 2. Right. They are not perfect movies, however. You know, there's a lot of things about them there where I'm like, yeah, I would have done this differently, and just little changes could have made it better. Star Wars, I don't care what version. There's always, even the original theatrical release, which apparently is going to get another release in England. The original theatrical release. We'll talk about that Sunday on Geeky Geezers. But it wasn't perfect. There was, you know, and unfortunately those imperfections stand out, and then George Lucas gets it in his head that he has to fix them. And it's like, no, just, it is what it is. It's okay. It's okay to not be perfect. It's done. Leave it alone.
It's because his excuse back then was when he did the new releases was that the technology wasn't at that point, right? So now that he had the CGI and everything to superimpose in those scenes, that's why he wanted to.
Here's the one counterpoint that I don't think anyone has made. When he realized he couldn't do the Jabba scene the way he wanted to, you've seen the film footage with that, you know, short, heavy Scottish guy, right? All the lines of dialogue that were important in that scene were transferred to Greedo, because Greedo he was able to film. You don't need both Greedo and Jabba saying the same stuff, establishing the same storyline. That's bad storytelling. If you're going to put Jabba in, you take Greedo out. You don't make one fire first or second or whatever. You take the whole scene out. It's not necessary.
Man, that created a whole influx of T-shirts too, right?
Right.
On shot and first, yeah. Everybody was wearing those shirts. Yeah.
And it's become a cultural zeitgeist thing, because there's a YouTuber that I really like called John Solo. He talks about fairy tales and mythology and stuff like that. And he always ends each stream with, and remember, John shot first.
Yep.
Welcome, Clue Channel. Good to see you, my friend.
And Outlaw Bill. And if I miss saying hello to anyone, let me know, because I gotta drop my hi, sweeties.
And Darth Plato, I think I missed something. Troy's gun theory. I need you to elaborate a little bit more. I'm not following you.
I need to know where you're seeing that comment.
It's the fifth one up now, because now Clue has just dropped a $5 super chat for you. Nothing to say. I just wanted attention. That is perfectly fair. And I think you deserve at least yes, you deserve at least $5 worth of attention, I would say. Welcome, Outlaw Bill. Welcome, Sashi. Good to see you guys. Always good to see all of you. But yeah, I think you know this about me. I'm very much death of the author. If you didn't get it up on screen, don't come back to me later and say, "Oh, I always intended that Dumbledore was gay." Well, you should have put it in the movie. Since you didn't, I don't want to hear it now. You know, go write another movie. You know, just saying.
They could just leave it alone.
Exactly.
Right.
And for those of you just joining us, the link to Basco Scenario's channel is pinned to the top of the chat. Please click on that and make sure that you are still subbed to him, because YouTube has taken away a bunch of his subs.
Yeah.
So go there and make sure that you're subbed. And if you've never subbed, well, this is your opportunity to drop a sub. Remember, it costs you nothing, but it's immeasurable to us.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Especially when you've dropped below 1,000. Did it affect your monetization?
No, because I didn't have the watch hours yet.
Oh,
and
okay.
Not only that, when I did a lot of watch hours, and because it's the year reset, I lost a lot. Like I was almost there and it reset.
Yeah.
So it's the constant battle. But like I said, you know, real life has me limited on how much I'm putting out. So like I said, it is what it is. But
and you have just the one live stream on Wednesdays?
That is right. Yeah. I
What's
did a
the name of the show?
few, the Hangout. We have it every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
And we just talk about, lately we've been talking about, how surprisingly amazing Daredevil Born Again was. And
There you go.
so, so we were talking about
So,
that series. Go
guys,
ahead.
make sure you hit that notification bell
Thank you,
for
Geek.
him so that you can remember on Wednesdays. And if you don't remember, that notification hopefully will help you out with it so that you can go hang out with him on Wednesdays, since as far as we know, there isn't much else happening on Wednesday nights, at least in our community.
And Clue saying monetization starts at 500 these days. That's true.
But you
But
also
he
have to
still
have a
needs-
certain number of watch
he still
hours.
needs
Yeah,
to
now it's
watch
my
hours.
watch hours. Yeah. Yeah.
And Netta ran into the same problem last year. She had the number of subscribers. She didn't have the watch
hours,
time.
yeah.
So I said, look, there's a couple things you got to do. I said, first, we got to get you streaming at least once more every week. Because look at us, a live stream is going to bring in however many audience members you have times however long the stream is. At a minimum, the hope is, of course, that those that can't make it live will come and check it out Memorex the next day or throughout the week. But, that's a huge one, and it's probably the fastest way to, get content out there without a lot of editing and stuff.
And I had some very nice people who were just letting
this
my
too,
channel
yes.
play 24/7 in the background
Right.
to help me get watch hours.
That helps
And so
too.
I got the initial ones just fine. Now I'm trying to get the watch hours to get the ad revenue, and I'm like 700 short, something like that, or just under 700 short. And it's like, and I had been at 500 short, and then like you said, New Year started, so I lost some of them.
Exactly.
So, and now I'm trying to regain those again.
So Sashi makes a great point. YouTube seems to be unparalleled for taking out subs. No military has their success rate. But so what you all wait, that's not what I wanted to do. Let me
What'd you do?
I was gonna post a link, but it didn't. It came up with a bunch of extra stuff I didn't want in there.
Okay.
Yeah. So you should also, and I'm like I said, I'm going to start doing this more often.
I can't see where I'm putting that down.
Subscribe to him on the Green Machine as well. I just dropped that link because look, he is already monetized over on the Green Machine. He will already be receiving, the somewhat paltry ad revenue over there from his very first subscriber with his very first piece of content over there.
That's correct.
So get over there and support him there as well.
They don't discriminate.
They really don't. They are way better over there.
And you can save a lot more on that platform. So
yes,
like this week where I was off, like I love gaming, and I went back on Call of Duty, and me and my buddy we're like two 15-year-old men playing Call of Duty now with all these sweats and people hacking, and it's fun. If you want to hear us rant when that's happening and watching those live streams, it's very amusing.
Sure. Welcome back, Nemesis of Eden. Saw you just the other day on one of our streams. Thank you so much for being here. Hail, you beautiful beings. I hope you are all doing well today. Netters Network, panel, and chat.
Thank you.
That's sweet. That is really
super
sweet.
well.
Very encouraging.
I love jumping onto other people's channels, especially, changing it up. They're not always talking about all the things that I usually talk about, and taking questions and stuff like that, which is awesome. The same thing happens when I used to be on Culture Show, and also Comics Division, and who else? Like I don't know if you know him, Fatal J. He used to have a show called the Dark Council, and he invited me a few times there with I believe you know him, Drunk 3PO.
Oh, and,
yeah. So it's awesome, like the whole different views and not echo chambers of being surrounded with people with other ideas. And sometimes they get criticized, certain channels get criticized for being so negative and trash talking. But like I told yesterday on my show, I said I like going to other people's channel because there's certain people like Comic Division, for example, where he might critique something, but he will give you positive things out of a crappy show. Like he would just not, he will not totally destroy it, or you know, at the end it's still a failure, but he will bring out things that were properly done or were positive in something, and that's what I like.
Well, I can tell you got a few more followers on Rumble, because I followed on Rumble, and I saw in the chat, where was it? Deleted Scene says he subbed on Rumble.
Sweet.
I thought I saw somebody else too. I may have.
Appreciate all that, guys. I really do.
Oh my gosh, I share it out. I put it into the description, and I hadn't followed yet, so now I've followed as well.
I like CluuStudio. Shh, Netter, don't tell YouTube the cheat code.
Well, you know, and
go ahead.
I think a lot of people were very down on Rumble for a number of reasons, but mostly because you don't have as many people going to Rumble. At least you didn't in the beginning. I think people are starting to migrate over more and more. And this is what I said. Look, it's got to start somewhere. You know, if you don't think there's enough eyes over there, why aren't you watching more videos over there? Why aren't you following more people over there? Why are you watching, for example, Culture Casino on YouTube when you could be watching him on Rumble? You know, just saying. You know,
yeah, I usually multi-stream them when I'm available. I'll have it open on both. I do that a lot for Fat Steven Seagal, who does a lot of gaming.
Yeah.
So I always check him out on Rumble first, and then I'll jump onto YouTube, since I have the majority of the people I follow are mostly on YouTube. Yeah. But no, Rumble definitely. These last 3 shows I haven't streamed them on Rumble, unfortunately, but I'm gonna upload them onto Rumble shortly, before my subscriptions to StreamYard ends. So
okay, CluuStudio said a friend of mine got monetized on Rumble at 100 subs. You are actually monetized right from the beginning on Rumble. You put up videos and you get enough people looking at them, you start earning money. Troy's earned money over there right from the beginning. I had at one point $2, but I guess because it never went higher than that, because I never really did anything, they took it away.
I don't know, but I was actually surprised to find I had accumulated some jingly jangles over there, so that was pretty cool.
It's great. It's motivational when you see, you know, especially in live chats like this, like live streams, when you see your numbers increase, right? Because I remember when I first started, I had like 4 people, 5 people. Now I have consistently between 12 to 15 to 20. And just seeing those double digits is like, hey, all right, you know, people actually like what we talk about, and just being ourselves and joking around, right? So that's the plus size of it when we do it. And the chat keeps the show going too.
Nate said, YouTube bastards go out of their way to make it harder for content creators to make money. And if it wasn't for the creators, the platform would be useless as a digital paperweight. Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. And for all of its shortcomings, I mean, there are, when they're the biggest game in town, you know, they can abuse you more and get away with more. At the same token, I've got a lot of good things to say about Rumble, but it's still got shortcomings too. You know, there's some things that people have been complaining about over on Rumble, and they're like, yeah, we're planning to get it fixed. And that was, you know, 2 years ago. We're still waiting for those fixes, you know?
Well, the thing is, it's all about money, right? If you really want to, you can always promote your shows or your videos that you're doing, your shorts, by putting money into it. Because a buddy of mine, LDG, that's what he did, just to prove that anybody can do it. And he blew up by doing a few videos and promoting his videos. Like I think he's over 60K. And before he did that, he was like around my numbers. Yeah. Like I think he promoted a few of them, and that's what it is. Like if you really want to, if you throw money into the machine, believe me, they will tweak the algorithm for you to get those views and get those watches. It comes down to money. Yeah, people can do it. The people that actually do it, like by working hard and actually doing it, you know, power to them. But like you see the amount of videos they bring out, they're streaming almost practically every day. You know, and bring out great
Yeah.
content, right? It's not only that. Obviously, you have to attract with great content.
Right.
And how I came about this was right before no, it was during the pandemic, when the pandemic first started. A buddy of mine had a show. I grew up with him. He was my first friend. We were like 3 years old when we met, and he had a show, and he invited me on. And then after that, I met people there, and it's like, oh, he really knows his stuff about Star Wars and this and that, and OG Star Wars I'm talking about, and
Sure.
in the books. But after that, I started getting invited on other streams. Everybody was locked down because it was Canada. We're locked down, so it was like, oh yeah, I can be on a stream every day. What else do I have to do?
Yeah.
And then that's just opened my doors, and I met a lot of people, and it was great. It got me through a hard time, and I just then after that, there's always YouTube drama. Then I decided to start my own thing with my own channel and do my own show. And like I said, consistently every week, that's the one show that takes me away from reality. And it's like a therapy session for not only myself, but for the guys that come on my show. They've told me, he goes, you know what? I've been having a crappy week, and I'm glad. And there's many times even I tell my wife, I don't feel like doing my show. I'm not feeling it today. And she tells me, she goes, every time you get on that show and people say a joke and then you're laughing, and then you come back differently, because it takes you away from your everyday life and issues. And, we're all different jobs, or I'll have different responsibilities, but just interacting with the panel, interacting with the chat, change your thoughts. And, sometimes things you can say can make another person's day and make them feel better as well. And you just don't realize that until, you hear it as a show or co-host or whatever. And that's what, then you realize, what, it's not so bad doing it. And then, I'll slowly get back those subs if they sub, but the people that are tuning in, they're tuning in because, they're getting
really
something from it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And speaking of co-hosts, my designated driver for Friday nights, Age Boomer, just stopped in to say hi to Netter. He may have to end the stream tomorrow night because I intend to seriously indulge in the adult beverage tomorrow. I think I've shared, if I didn't share with you directly, I know I've shared on streams before. The whole idea behind Last Call on Friday night was when I started the channel. It was right when Netter and I were both downsized from our jobs because of the lockdowns. And I said the thing that I would miss most was getting together with the coworkers on Friday, going to the little pub on the other side of the expressway and decompressing and, just, complaining about our bosses, sometimes with our boss sitting directly across from us,
the bad customers and all that.
All the, just decompressing, And I was like, I miss that. I said, I'm gonna start a show to just keep that going. And, to some degree we decompress about the week, but oftentimes we find it so much more fun to just say, oh, it's been a brutal week. This is what I'm going to have to drink tonight. Let's talk about something more fun,
Right.
Exactly.
But this is as Big Al put it, if you can't get out, this is your opportunity to be social. It puts the social in social media, I know every time I hang out with this bunch of goofy geeks and wonderful nerds after a hard day, it makes me feel better. And this is what interacting, socializing always used to be, whether it was with your family, your friends, whatever. But we've gotten so insular and we've gotten so involved with, I was saying, I don't know, sometime last year, I had to go to the doctor. I'm sitting in the doctor's office, and I was just sitting there looking around and looking at all the people in the waiting room. Every single one of them was looking down at a phone, whether they were old,
it's
kids,
insane.
And it's like,
absolutely,
what the heck, what happened to just
sitting and
chatting with people.
I am with him at the doctor's office because he rarely goes by himself anywhere. I'm usually with them. We'll be chatting, but everyone else would be on their phones. It's like,
It's sad because it's funny you say that because last month I believe I was heading downtown and I took public transit and I was in the subway cart and I'm like looking around. Everyone is on their phone, either watching a
Yeah,
show or because now they have internet on the subway trains right over
yeah,
here.
yeah,
And so everybody's connected, everybody's like doing their thing. And I'm like, oh my goodness, if something were to happen,
yeah.
their reaction time to any type of emergency is just cut completely.
Well, I have to laugh because
Yeah.
people share these. I don't know if they're TikTok videos or what they are, but they'll share them on Twitter. People, filming other people looking
Yes.
at their phones and walking into poles, and there was one I saw a guy fell into a hole in the ground. I think that guy got really seriously hurt.
No, we had a tragic death over here about 4 years ago. It was a girl. She was on her phone, and the subway came, and she fell in between the carts.
Oh
Like
God!
the new trains don't have those divisions, right? They're all connected, so it doesn't
Right?
happen. But our old ones, they had a gap, and
Yeah.
she fell in between the trains, and between the
I
carts. It was just, and you see it on the camera, like she's completely on her phone,
I do not
oblivious,
even
walking with it.
I do not even understand how people can tune out the world around them that much.
Mhm.
I this this is why I'm almost never looking at my phone, because I'm looking where I'm going. I'm
Yeah,
paying attention to what's going on around me. I
it was.
hate to say it, but I grew up in the
I,
Chicago area, so situational awareness, you know what I
I
mean?
absolutely. I've walked down alleyways in Chicago for a conference once, and I can tell you it was eventful. It was
Yeah.
truly eventful, yeah. But I had the same the speech with my employees at one time because I
Mhm.
was taking the subway at the time going to work, and I noticed my employees were going with their headsets, with their phones, and we work in a secure area, right?
Mhm.
Where you have to be always conscious of who's around if anybody's there, right?
Right.
And I saw her, and this was after we had a meeting, the whole staff, and I'm like, okay, no problem. I'm going to see if she's going to pay attention. I was walking right behind her, oblivious to me being there. So we
Right.
get into the first access door where you have to
Uh-huh.
thumb thumb ID and your code to get in. She got in, I went right behind her. She didn't even know I was
Uh-huh.
there. And it's called
Yeah.
SAS doors, right? There's 3 doors that you have to go through and you can't open these doors simultaneously. You have to
Right. So
you have
that
to
was
wait for.
basically a security breach
Yeah.
that you
So
caught her in.
basically
Okay.
I'm right behind her. She opened up the second door. And right after that, when she got to the third door to access, it was in a right, like it's a different door, and you had to turn
Mhm.
left. She turned
Uh-huh.
around and she saw me. And she jumped.
Uh-huh.
I didn't do anything. She just saw me there, but she didn't hear me
Yep.
because she had her headset and she was looking at her phone. She jumped, dropped her phone, took off her headphones. She became pale. I looked at her and I'm like, I hope now you're gonna take my memo seriously. Never do this
Yeah.
again. And she spread the word, and everybody after that, you would see them come. I would see them come on the street. All they would take off their headset. They would look around. Like what we do is a serious job. You cannot, for your safety and the safety of what we do, you cannot jeopardize,
Oh,
your own
yeah.
safety.
I mean,
They completely
that right there would be a
own everything.
write-up in
Yeah,
my company.
I want to say something about that, but first, let's acknowledge.
absolutely.
Thank you so much, CluuStudio.
Yes, thank you.
$20. That is incredibly generous of you.
Goodness, thank you.
Yeah. When I went through driver's orientation at a new job, we had to get medically tested. The doctor said that no phones were allowed in the clinic. Okay. Something amazing happened as we waited. We started talking to each other. There you go. That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I was going to say about that is, it's not even, and I get what Netter's saying about the write up. Sure, that I can see that, but that's not necessarily the way to go. Uh, it seems very clear she got the message.
Yes.
Oh yeah, she did.
I probably would have wanted to say, I just walked through those 2 doors directly behind you. You didn't know I was there. What if it wasn't me?
Yeah.
That
They call it
sometimes,
tailgating.
yeah, sometimes getting people to just understand the why it's important,
Yeah.
and I've gotten to the point where generally if I'm listening to music, if I've got earbuds or whatever, I'm usually doing it looking around. And if someone starts to approach me, I'll take one of the earbuds out.
Mm-hmm.
They may not be coming to talk to me or not. I don't know. But if they do, I'll hear them. I'm usually engaged in what's going on around me.
Yeah, it's like there was a company that I worked for. This was many years ago. So I'm front desk, and the door to get in was down the hall. So it's not like I can get to it quickly. So they gave me a buzzer to buzz people in.
Right.
Well, I'm a new employee. I don't know all the faces of the people that work there. And what they're supposed to do, even if there's a group, you're supposed to still hit your badge as you're going through. Well, not everyone did that. And they had one instance where there was like something like 12 people, 13 people, whatever, that came back from lunch. Group went through, and someone decided to join the group that wasn't with our company. And someone came to my desk and started screaming at me, going, "You let this guy just wander around our floors." I'm like, okay, first of all, a group of people came in from lunch. I'm still new. I don't know all the faces. The people that actually work here should know that this guy was not an employee, and should have asked him who he was, because I'm not going to know anybody yet.
Yeah,
exactly.
And he didn't get into it. He was just pretty much just wandering around, just looking at things, but he didn't touch anything. And they had security kick him out. But it's like, I said, plus that door is all the way down the hall. No one ever badges in except for the first person, and everyone else files in after them. There's nothing I can do about that.
There's another reason that's important. And it's not just for, security. Like Netter said, we worked for a company where all the information was very, very crucial. And, there were a lot of security concerns. But it's not just that. When you have a security system like that, for safety reasons, let's say there's a fire or, some other reason they have to evacuate the building.
Mm-hmm.
The security can tell if everyone that passed in has left the building.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But, if you didn't pass in, you didn't card key in, you could be in there, you could be passed out in the smoke, and they don't know. So-and-so isn't accounted for. He should be in this area. That's where he's supposed to report. We can't find him. They just say, well, I don't think he was here at work today. He didn't pass in today. So
yeah, that's true. What you say, like, that's one of the things that we do. We prepare like fire drills, exit procedures, and things like that. Yeah, absolutely.
That's the other thing.
That's on those teams where, aside from,
there you go.
Actually, yeah, my last company too. I was always on one of the teams that was in charge of the drills to make sure that everyone got out. So in my particular section, all the people I was responsible for, I had a list. And every day I would go down the list and go, okay, they're here. Is so-and-so going to be in today? Does anyone know? Are they on PTO or something? Does anyone know? And if I didn't know, I'd put a question mark. So if I didn't see them for most of the morning, where I was like, okay, they're probably out. But I would still have them on my list because I just had a pre-printed list that I just checked off every day. And it's like, if we had a drill, which we would have drills often just for surprise, I can go to my list and go, okay, 7 of the 11 people on the team are in today. You all need to get out, and I'm checking them off as I'm getting them out the door. Nobody else did that. They're just like, okay, everyone go to the store, get out. I knew where my people were. No one else did.
Real quick, want to say hi to Fletcher Williams. Hola, amigo. Good to see you.
Sup, primo?
Love
Fletch, man.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, no, and I always took fire drills seriously because the one time you don't take it seriously, is the time that it really is an emergency.
We used to have drills. I used to work for a law office. It was on like the 15th floor of this building. And the fire department wanted a drill of the entire building. So it means everyone had to get out. And they timed you because it's like they wanted to see how fast your company got out.
That's right.
We had one lawyer who was all that in a bag of chips. At least he thought he was. He was the most self-entitled Karen that you would ever want to meet.
You said he was a lawyer.
He was a lawyer.
You're repeating yourself.
I even remember his name. Hokinseki. That was his name. He thought he was all that in a bag of chips. So we're having this drill, and on it was like a duplex floor for us. So it's like you can go up a set of stairs to get to the other part. So I'm in charge of half of my floor. So I'm going and I'm knocking on doors. Everyone out, and you need to get out. You need to get out. We're having a drill, emptying out conference rooms, everything. You know, putting the stick notes on the door to show that these rooms were empty. All that. Our entire office got out of the building except for this one lawyer. And we're like, and his assistant, who was a very timid young lady, I felt so bad for her, kept saying, we have to leave, we have to leave. And he wouldn't listen to her. So finally, someone just grabbed her, dragged her out, and then told the firemen, it's like, this guy refused to leave.
Yeah.
So the fireman went up there and said, you need to leave now, sir. He goes, I am on a very important call. He goes, we don't care. They hung up his phone and told him, you get out now, we're finding you.
Yeah.
He finally dragged his butt downstairs, but because of his delay, it cost our company some like an additional like 15, 20 minutes because he refused to leave. So we got dinged for not getting our people out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. And if the building really was on fire, you're dead, dude.
Yeah.
You know, how's your important call then?
And how they tell a lot of people, if you hear that bell going, you know, don't go there, start looking for your wallet, looking for this, looking for that, and you know, certain emergencies, right? That's what like they do on the planes, right? You know, if this plane crash lands, and leave your luggage. And you've seen video of current planes that actually, you know, did emergency landings, and what did people do? You saw them there taking their bags, jumping off the sliding ramp with their luggage in their hands. It's we're so possessive. We're so possessive of our belongings sometimes that you know, your life is a lot more important than, my God, your wallet or your passport or
exactly.
You know,
keep in your pockets what you need: your wallet, your keys, your phone. That's all you need. Anything else can be replaced. You cannot.
Yeah, true. It's exactly right.
Oh man, if that plane's on fire and my phone falls on the floor, hell, it's staying on the floor.
Well,
my wallet too can stay on the floor. I'm like, feet don't fail me now.
Yeah, but generally it's like you like guys usually have their wallet and their keys, whatever, in their pocket, and their phone.
Yeah.
Women, if you got a purse, it's like find some way to carry the stuff on your person, your wallet and your keys. I've got a small like a card holder. It's the size of a credit card, well, slightly bigger. My credit cards, my IDs, all that is in there. That's always in my pocket. I don't need a purse.
I got rid of I got rid of my big fat wallet. I have like this. It's like has an RFID shell and it just fits my cards.
One of those metal ones. Yeah.
Yeah, it has it has fiber. It's a fiber.
One of those.
What's it called? Fiberglass coverings with RFIDs. People can't scan your credit cards or anything
with
like
the
that.
RFID.
Yeah,
correct.
Exactly.
And it has a money clip, so whenever I have cash, I just put it there, and it's a lot smaller than having those old wallets like back in the day.
Clue says, I FedEx my luggage when I travel. I don't like to carry luggage. I'll tell you, we've done that a number of times with our laundry so that we don't have to pack it and take it back with us. And then, it arrives either a day later.
I never thought of that. That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we just got like a large flat mailbox and stuffed it full of all our dirty laundry, which also took weight out of our luggage.
Right.
Shipped it home. It was like, at that time, it was like $12 or something. And, we got home from our trip. A few days later, we got our laundry.
Thanks so much, Fletcher. You are good people. You really, really are.
He's awesome.
And Mark says, same as active shooter drills.
Yes.
I have to write a report and update evacuation maps every year. I ask coworkers, did you look over the map during training? What map? The ones all over the walls. Yeah, exactly. I guess I have a strong conviction about that because I got a buddy who used to be a fireman. He's retired now. And he used to talk about, every time you go into a place, do you know where the nearest fire exit is? Do you know where the fire extinguishers are? And I'm like, I never thought about that. He goes, it's part of situational awareness. If you don't know the place,
100%.
And the
AEDs. Yeah, exactly.
One company I worked for, I'd only been there a couple of weeks. the alarm goes off. And I got it from my desk, which happened to be across from a door. And I went to one of the coworkers and said, "What's our procedure during a fire drill?" She goes, "I don't know." So I turned around and asked somebody else, "What's our procedure for fire drills?" "I don't know. I don't think we have one." I'm like, "Okay, all of you need to get outside now. I've done this before. Just get outside, get away from the building."
Yeah.
And
That's pretty straightforward.
I mean, the fact that the new person had to tell them what to do, because they're all standing around with their coffee going, "Oh, the alarm's going off." I'm like, get out of the building.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going on. Just go outside, but go further into the parking lot, away from the building, just in case there's something really hazardous going on. You're safe.
Mm-hmm.
And the office administrator came by at one point, and she was an awfully crabby person. I asked her, and I said, "Is there a specific protocol you want us to follow?" She goes, "Just get your ass outside." I'm like, "Okay, fine." She hated me from day one.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, we all went out into the parking lot, and we waited for the firemen to come. I think it was like somebody actually sent their fire basket on or waste basket on fire. And so because they're not really supposed to be smoking in the building, but they did. And so they had to put that out.
In the boys' room. Sorry.
Yeah. See, it's the same thing happens with some employees, like properly trained employees is a big thing. Like where you're telling me right now, that's definitely a lack of training and a lack of supervision on what the protocol is and who's responsible for what. But like I had staff members, like for example, that we monitored a home, and over here in Canada it gets pretty cold. Well, certain parts of the United States as well. But we had like a huge warm front that came in, right? And we had a whole bunch of snow that it snowed in, and then at night it dropped to like minus 30 degrees. 30 degrees Celsius is about more when the Fahrenheit, the minus Fahrenheit and the degrees match up, it's cold. So what happened is he got a carbon monoxide. He got a CO detector that went off in the house in the middle of the night.
Oh,
so we called the customer, and the customer was like, "No, I don't smell anything." And I'm like, "You won't smell anything.
Yeah,
you don't. You don't smell it." And so quick thinking of the coworker said, "But basically, where's your car? Is it in the garage or is it?" He goes, "No, it's outside. You have a starter. Yeah, start it up. Get your family in the car. We're gonna call the fire department. They're gonna come." He didn't want to do it, and then I was there, and I said, "No, tell him to do it." And he says, "My supervisor's saying do it." So he did it. Fire department went. Fire department goes to the customer. If they wouldn't have called you, your whole family would have passed away in less than 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing with the importance of properly training your staff to know what it is, because a lot of people go, "Oh, CO detector, I can smell it." No, you can't. You can't smell it.
Yeah.
There is no smell to CO2.
There is no smell, because natural gas, right? What they don't know is that natural gas also doesn't have a smell, but they add a smell to it. So people,
they add a sulfur smell to it, so that you normally
smell that rotten. Exactly.
But you also realize, even with that smell, if it's been going on for a while and you hadn't noticed it, you become sense blind to it. Someone else coming in from outside will smell it.
100%.
You don't. That happened to my mom. My I guess there was a gas leak in the house. My uncle came over and said, "Get out of the house." "What are you talking about?" "There's gas." "I don't smell any gas." "I do. Get out of the house." And it was a very, very similar circumstance. Yeah.
And hello to
it's crazy.
Mr. House Party 6. Thank you so much for the $10.
So much.
This is the first time I really talk about a lot of stuff that I do.
Yeah, we didn't mean to get you talking about work.
But it's interesting,
Americanis. No, it's like I said about going on other channels, right? You talk about different things. Yeah.
Absolutely. And Mr. House Party 6, I believe, is a new person coming to our chat. I don't think I've seen you here before, so thank you so very much. It's really appreciated.
Hope to see you around more often. I feel like you did say that, an hour was about where you were at. Are you still okay with us? We are probably going to start winding it down, though.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Yeah. No,
Okay.
no, we can go for
So,
another 20 if you want. I'm good. I'm good for the
so
next 20, 25 minutes.
okay.
Okay.
So have we? Because we have gone all over the world. We've gone all around the universe, and oh, you have a library. Well, but that's not actually our library behind her. What you're actually seeing is our DVD collection.
Oh, yeah.
Our library is upstairs, and it is, equally as impressive.
All of these are DVDs. In fact, if you come over to my channel every other Saturday, so this Saturday is Big Al Presents on his channel, but then next Saturday on my channel, so right here again, we do Retro Cinema, and we're going alphabetically through all those movies behind me, and I'm currently on F.
Wow.
Let's see, and my next movie will be...
Next week.
Yes, next week. Where'd my movies go?
Starts with an F.
You think?
Yeah,
goofball.
I can go there. I've got your page open.
Footloose.
Yeah, we're gonna be watching Footloose,
nice.
and then what do we got?
Because we just watched Flight of the Living Dead,
which actually was way better than you would think. After Footloose, 2 weeks after Footloose, we're watching a dark comedy that I love so much, 4 Rooms, with Tim Roth, and actually it's an all-star cast. A lot of great little Easter eggs I'm going to share about there. It's what do they call that? An anthology film. It's 4 different stories, all tied together by this bellboy in this hospital. And the final room.
You mean hotel?
Did I
You
say
said hospital.
I meant hotel. Yeah.
Yeah,
The last room is written and directed and starring Quentin Tarantino. It's a great movie. Soundtrack by Combustible Edison. I love this movie. I'm really looking forward to it. But I'm also jazzed about Footloose, but I think a lot of people have already seen Footloose. That's going to be a lot of fun, I think. Yes, Tarantino.
Yes.
If you have not seen 4 Rooms, just wait. Just wait until we show that in a couple weeks, because it's I got stories to tell about this movie. It's good.
And it's
good stuff.
Literally about 4 different rooms in the hotel, and different things that are happening. Yeah. And then you see how they kind of connect in different ways. It's really
thank you,
cool.
Nemesis. What were you going to say there?
Did they do a remake of that? Is this like, I think I've heard like the same premise. Was it called 4 Rooms? What year did that come out?
4 Rooms was. We got to get in the habit of putting the years on your streams. 4 Rooms was 1995. I knew it was after we got married movie. Because.
Yes, I did see that movie. Yes, that's what it is.
Robert Rodriguez does one of the room. Like I said, it's different director for each room.
Each room, exactly. I saw this in the theater back in the day.
Yeah. Netter was working at a movie theater. That's how I ended up seeing it, actually. Madonna, Marissa Tomei, Antonio Banderas, or Tony Flags, if you prefer. I like to call him that. But yeah, actually, there's another person in there who has a very funny bit, except she's made herself very much persona non grata. You kind of got to get past that. But anyway.
Mr. House Party says, a library is a library. We do not get to choose that which will bring the readers viewers.
That's absolutely true.
Okay, so I have this library behind us of all DVDs, but as Troy mentioned,
got I
have a library upstairs that is 1 room just filled with bookshelves and all kinds of books from different genres, because I'm eclectic, just like my movies. I have every type of genre you can imagine. So, and the bookcases are actually organized by the genre. So it's like one will go into another and all that. So Yeah, it's. I love books. I've been reading since I was 4, and that was a book that my brother had told me about. He had read The Hobbit and told me about it. So when he put it on the bookshelf, I picked it up and I opened up the book and I started reading. And my mother's like, "Oh, honey, that's so cute, but there's no pictures in that book." And I'm like, "But Mom, I'm reading." She goes, "Okay, sure you are, honey." Until I started reading aloud, and she goes, "You're reading. You're 4. That's The Hobbit."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's funny. Sorry, but my both my daughters, which they're grown adults right now, they
mhm.
remember when I had punished them off electronics completely, and it wasn't back like to this time of where everybody just wanted an iPad and stuff like that, right? It was like video games, watching DVDs. It was during that time, and they got in trouble, so I punished them for a week, no electronics. So they weren't
Yeah.
allowed to touch anything that was electronic, and they started reading. And the book that I had given my eldest was the Witches.
Is that Roald Dahl?
Yes, it is.
There you go.
And she read that book, and then she started reading a bunch of other books, and then my youngest one started reading books, and now you go into the room, they have shelves full of books that they've read
Yeah.
more than once, and they love
Good.
reading. So, and my eldest actually told me, she goes, it probably was, if you wouldn't have punished us, we probably wouldn't have loved reading the way we do now.
That's what punishment is. It's not to hurt you. It's
Yeah.
to help you.
Yeah.
Judy Blume, Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing, and Super Fudge were my favorites.
And a reminder to those who have come in recently, the link to Basco Scenario's channel is pinned to the top of the chat. Please right-click on there, go to his channel, and give him a sub. And make sure if you were subbed before that you are still subbed, because YouTube took away a lot of them, and that's just a horrible injustice.
So every Wednesday at
8 p.m.
7 o'clock
Eastern.
8 p.m. Eastern. Okay, yeah, 7 Central. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, when can I watch? Over on your channel, The Hangout, it's called.
Yeah, that's my little show.
So make sure you guys go over and you hit that notification bell. What else you got coming up in the near future? Anything planned?
No, I'm just like with my friend Ryan that lives in the United States. We do a lot of we're back on Call of Duty Warzone, just ranting and raving and having fun. It's basically we have fun with each other. Like we crack jokes left and right sometimes, and it's just sometimes it's a little bit raunchy, but it's all in good fun. And yeah, just that's the only thing that's coming up this week because I'm on vacation. It's Good Friday tomorrow, so I won't be streaming, but probably Saturday during the day or Sunday in the evening. That's what I'll be doing, and my show every Wednesday, where we have Fletcher, who's in the chat. He's a regular now on the show as well. So we talk a lot about pop culture, a lot of things that are going on, and sometimes we got a little political a couple of weeks ago, but it's it is what it is. We talk about everything. It's called the Hangout because that's what we do. We just hang out, talk about stuff that we like. And sometimes we just bring up topics that are on our minds that could be about, like you said, it's the same concept as you and at the end of the bar talking about your bosses or hard day at work or like that. Whatever anybody wants to talk, even the chat, they might bring up a topic and we talk about it as well and bring it into light. But yeah, it's a good time.
So I'm guessing the Clue read Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. I read that one too. Yep. Absolutely.
And see, one of the books I liked growing up, and none of y'all probably ever heard of it. Do black patent leather shoes really reflect up?
I remember the play. I didn't read the book.
It was a good book.
Yeah. But
remember, I'm a lot older than y'all, so I've read books that y'all probably never heard of. But yeah, it's an older book. And
you started reading at 4. You have quite a head start.
Yeah, because
Mr. House Party,
I'm older than Troy.
Mr. House Party is pointing out one of the paradoxes of literature. The more you read, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you realize how little you know.
Okay, the author of Do Black Patent Leather Shoes Really Reflect Up is John R. Powers.
There you go.
And there's actually a sequel to it, which I didn't think it was as good. But yeah, it was a good book.
No, got what you were saying there, Nate. Problem with that is that could be as bad as showing movies. That it is, if it's copywritten, even reading it aloud can be considered an issue. However, I am planning to read at least an excerpt of the book that I am reading on a future installment of Last Call. This book, Batman Resurrection, is really good. And I want to read a couple of passages at least.
Hey, I had that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was taking down the one I had up.
No. Mr. House Party says, full disclosure, I count my analog library in the thousands of books, but I'm a dummy.
Yeah.
I don't think you're a dummy.
Yeah, that's what I was
I actually had to cull my library because I had so many that were totally overrunning the library room.
Yeah.
And so I had gone through and it's like, okay, this book was okay, but I'm never going to read it again.
There really does come a point where you have to look and go, can I feasibly read all the books that I have before I die? Well, will I actually reread these books? You got to start.
Or will I ever read this book to begin with?
Yeah.
Because a lot of books I had gotten, because I work for a publishing company. And so I was bringing books home to read and never got to them. It's like, I'm never going to get to these. And so I just end up donating. I donate something like 24 boxes of books, like, paper boxes. Yeah, right. That size. Those filled with books.
Wow. I have not, Clue, and I just looked it up. That is a Judy Blume book as well. I'll have to look into that.
The book, we were talking about books that you remember as a kid growing up. Mine was Terry Brooks. I think it was called Magic Kingdom for Sale. So it was like a kid that ends up owning a magic kingdom, and he goes through like a portal or something, and he owns the kingdom, and he has to try and fix the kingdom and everything like that. It was like a series. I know the second one. I think
sounds like Wizard at Large.
I just looked it up. The full title is actually Magic Kingdom for Sale.
Yeah.
Sold.
Yes, that's Sold. The series. Yeah. I read that.
That was a great series. I remember that.
Yeah, one of the other books is called Wizard at Large. That was a great series.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I actually look for those.
Yeah, it's on our bookshelf.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's awesome. See, that's cool.
Yeah, that was a great series. My ring at 4-2 was Jules Verne and Edgar Allan Poe. It's probably the reason I turned out weirder the most. I also read Edgar Allan Poe and Jules Verne, but that came a little bit later. First was J.R. Tolkien, and then basically it was anything I can get my hands on, I read it.
Yeah.
Probably even some books I shouldn't have because they were way too adult, but they were on the bookshelf. So
was Fabio a part on the cover?
Actually, what Sashi's talking about here.
Let's put it this way. One of the books that was on the bookshelf was The Joy of Sex. Don't know where it came from.
Kama Sutra.
Yeah.
I read Joy. I'm like, okay, this must be a happy book, until I started going, what the heck is that?
Yeah. Sashi, I mean, actually, Jules Verne and Edgar Allan Poe, I believe most of that is public domain. I could totally read those on a stream. I get what you're saying, Nate, but I'm not going to read like a whole chapter. I'm just talking like a couple paragraphs, one little excerpt. I think I can get away with it. Yeah. If I can't, I'll fight it. I will absolutely fight it. But yeah, so that's some of what is we're talking about. Let's real quick go through what we got coming up. Like I said, tomorrow night, me and Age Boomer and Netter will be talking about the transitional years for Doctor Who. Talking about the 30th anniversary Dimensions in Time. I want to say it was 1996. Made for TV movie, The Enemy Within, with Paul McGann. The Red Nose special, the first Stephen Moffat written Doctor Who, albeit, kind of a jokey parody sort of thing. Curse of Fatal Death with Rowan Atkinson and a bunch of other celebrities making little guest appearances. We'll talk about that very briefly, and of course the transitional doctor, the war doctor, leading into Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant.
It's like those of you who saw me make a face like, oh my gosh, it was Sasha's comment here. I also managed to get my hands on a Tarzan graphic novel, which had him ripping out hearts and eating them. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, if it's a graphic novel based specifically on what was it, Edgar Rice Burroughs? Was that who wrote Tarzan? The original was really pretty heavy duty.
Well,
yeah,
easy to do. Alexa, who wrote Tarzan?
Edgar Rice Burroughs wrote the novel Tarzan of the Apes.
There you
published
go.
in 1912.
Yeah, 1912. So that's probably public domain
knows
too.
Everything.
Yeah, well,
she's kind of dumb sometimes.
Yeah, artificial intelligence is artificial and not very intelligent.
You should see our shopping list. She's got the weirdest things on there.
Yeah. Why are you so loud, girl? I don't know what we were ordering, but yeah.
Tetanus covered Cheetos.
Nate says Nate wants you to come back, so we'll absolutely be having you back.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about that.
Oh, great time. Absolutely.
Alexa and Siri reports your house conversations to the NSA. I have no doubt about that. I really have no doubt about that. But let's be honest.
I'm not quite sure how to help you.
Alexa, stop.
See? She outs herself.
I'm not quite sure how to help you. Beyond help.
Yeah. But so anyway, yeah, tomorrow night, Doctor Who on my channel, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. And actually, you know what else I forgot? Right after this stream, you will be auto dramatically shot over to Deleted Scenes channel for his coming attractions. And if you haven't set that up already, Netter, it is in the private chat for you to go take care of that. I was just recently on a stream with Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips. Ask her how many Cap movies are there. Alexa, how many Captain America movies are there?
There have been 4 movies in the Captain America series since the first one, Captain America, The First Avenger, came out in 2011.
Well, thank you very much. There you go. I thought she was going to list them all, but she didn't.
Hey, you even thank her. You're so cool. If AI takes over, they're gonna remember. Oh, he thanked me. We're gonna keep him.
She will sing. I'll say thank you, and she'll go, "You're very, very, oh so very welcome."
Sometimes. It kind of is. I will say.
Oh wait, here's the funniest one. Alexa, I love you.
That's so nice of you to say.
Oh, she didn't sing the song. Let me try. Alexa, I love you.
That's so nice of you to say.
Okay, they took the song away.
She used to go, "Thanks for saying I love you.
You're just as sweet as pie. Know that I'll be here for you. As always, your trusty AI."
Wow. How many times did they sing it?
The song.
Alexa has programmed us, apparently. My uncle borrowed that book from me because it had amazing artwork.
He was an artist and wanted to practice the human form.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, sometimes that's exactly.
Yeah, Tarzan was ripped.
She says lies. Yeah, really, because that doesn't take into account the what was the one? Oh, who was the guy that played him? Salinger. The one where he had the ears were sewn onto the side of his head. instead of like actually cutting out the ear holes.
Oh,
It was really bizarre. And of course, the Reb Brown, technically they made movies out of his made-for-TV
Alexa,
shows.
pew pew.
Pew pew.
Alexa, fire photon torpedoes.
Firing photon torpedoes.
Wow. I never knew we could do that.
Yep.
I'm going to freak out my wife right now when she's asleep. I'm going to go, Alexa, fire photon torpedoes.
Do you know you can do drop-in? So, like, if Troy's down in the family room and I'm up in my office, he can tell her to drop in on my office, and then he can talk to me without having to actually come upstairs and talk to me.
That was the main reason.
That was
literally the reason.
I remember at work, I got an Amazon TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we had a lot of, like, during the whole pandemic, we had like the sport things that were happening and stuff like that before the pandemic. So I didn't want employees to call in sick. So I said, you know what? I'm going to get a TV. I'm going to put my Amazon account onto that so they can watch the sporting events while they work, right? So they don't call in sick.
Right.
It was great. They got tackle, like they bought tacos, they bought nachos and all these things. So there was paperwork to be done, and somebody was like, they were too busy watching TV. So I did a drop in. When I checked the cameras, I did the drop in. I'm like, drop the tacos and get that paperwork done before the third quarter. You just see them all like, oh crap.
Yeah, that is so funny.
Yeah, that's why I cried.
That was literally the reason. That was literally the reason I wanted to get an Echo Dot in various rooms of the house, specifically because it was cheaper than getting an intercom system.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
and a lot better than yelling.
Right.
Hey. You know,
I mean, yeah, technically I could do that, but you know,
but I won't necessarily hear him if I'm in my office and he's down here in the family room.
Right.
So it's like he just does drop in.
Yeah.
And my AI will glow green rather than its usual blue, and then he'll ask me whatever, and then it's like, okay, hang up, you know.
So Friday last call, Saturday Big Al presents Films with Friends.
Yep.
Like I said, right after this, you'll be sent auto-dramatically over to Deleted Scenes to find out what he's got going on all weekend, because he's got a whole bunch of things. Sunday, over on Age of Boomers channel, where I will be co-piloting with him, 8 o'clock on Sunday, Geeky Geezers. We have a lot of entertainment and gaming news to bring to you, but because I haven't put those news to get that news together just yet, I can't remember what they all are. So we'll have to get back to you about that. Monday, I haven't finalized this just yet, but the members have decided they want me to watch This Is Spinal Tap, because I've never seen it before. So the members' night at the movie is This Is Spinal Tap. So
I don't think I've seen that either. So we'll be watching it for the first time together.
Exactly. So and if you want to watch along with us, membership on my channel starts as low as $2 a month. Totally worth it for some of the movies that we're watching on Monday
That means
nights.
you get at least 4 movies a month for $2.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, maybe think about it if you're not already a member. That's Monday night. And then Tuesday night over on Deleted Scenes channel, we'll all be over there for Live from Sparkwood and 21. And this time I really am going to be finishing up my discussion of the secret history of Twin Peaks, followed immediately after on my channel by the season 2 finale of Blake 7, Star 1.
And CluuStudio dropped a $5 super chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Can you cover episode 4 of the new Black Mirror series? It's video game theme.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
I'll have to
Yeah.
A new
You know what
season
I'm
just
gonna
came
look into
out.
that.
is I am going to grab a little snip of that so that I can remind myself to take a look at that. Yeah, I don't. I have
That's on
not
Netflix.
watched Black Mirror. I've heard about it, but I haven't actually watched it. So I'll have to look into that. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Awesome.
Good deal.
And that brings us to next Thursday. Do you know what we're doing next
I
week
currently
Thursday?
don't have a guest, so
Hey,
anyone that
guys.
is interested in being a guest on Thursday Things, drop me a
Any
DM
of
on
you
Twitter.
guys? Of you guys have YouTube channels or other streaming channel?
Yeah, do you want to grow? I mean, I was originally just doing if you got a YouTube channel you want to grow, because it's easy to get the link for that to drop in, and we can kind of keep track on.
But
how you're
obviously,
growing,
we use YouTube kind of the way you use Xerox when you mean a photocopy.
Yeah.
You know,
So
if you got a Rumble channel, a Twitch channel,
exactly. So if you have any channel that you want to grow, whether it be
Substack.
I've been trying to grow my
YouTube.
OnlyFans. It's not working very well though.
Rumble, any, and you want to get the word out, you want to talk about it, or there's something that you're just really passionate about. You're like, I really want to talk about this thing because it means so much to me. I want other people to know about it because I'm so excited about it. Drop me a DM on Twitter. Let's get you on Thursday Things. I don't have any like permission things that you should have to get through, but sometimes X gets weird. Twitter X, whatever you want to call it, gets weird, and you have to follow me before you can DM me. If you want to follow me, DM me, and then unfollow me, I don't care. I really don't care if I have followers on Twitter. But I think you have to at least follow me to message me initially. And then after that, you should be fine to message me anytime. So yeah, send me a DM on Twitter. Let me know what Thursday you would like to be on. And let's take it from there, because I would love to have you guys on.
Yeah, speaking of that, Clue's like, yeah, I need help with that too. Yeah, we've talked about starting a channel for us old farts. It's called Ornery Fans. I mean, there's no spicy content except, the language we use and, the ranting that we do. But,
get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn, you little sons of... But anyway, so that is the week in review for us.
Good deal.
The Basco Scenario. Let's get him back to 1,000 subscribers and start getting his watch hours up.
Reminder that the link to his channel is pinned to the top of the chat.
Yeah.
Please go over there, and if you're not already subbed, drop a sub. And if you... Hold on.
I have no doubt, Mr. House Party. Yeah.
So if you're not already subbed, go over there and drop a sub. If you think you're subbed, go over there and double check you're still subbed, because YouTube.
And if you stick with us, that's where you're going to be going in just a few minutes.
Yes, absolutely. So you should be automatically directed to Deleted Scenes channel for coming attractions.
And in that regard, I'm done talking. I ain't saying nothing.
Yeah, you always say that.
I always say that.
So, Basco Scenario, any final words?
No, thank you very much for having me. It's been fun. Thank you to chat for everybody that's subbing and checking me out. You like it or you don't like it, you don't want to sub, but I appreciate the sub. And yeah, it was awesome. Time flew by.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, that's why sometimes these streams, it's like I say an hour. There are times it goes so much over that because we're having so much fun, and it's like the time, like you said, just flies by.
So. That Deleted Scenes is looking at his watch and stamping his come on, guys.
Very final words?
No, I really am.
Okay. Well, you all know what I always say. We can talk amongst ourselves, and that's all well good and fun. But it's so much more fun when you guys are joining us in the chat and you're dropping your comments, questions, trivia, being goofy, whatever it may be. And it doesn't feel like we're separated by miles or continents in some cases. Hi, Sashi. Yeah. It feels like we're all hanging out in our family room. We're passing the popcorn and we're having a really great time. And you guys, you're not just our friends. You are our family. We love you guys and we appreciate you so very much. And you could be anywhere right now and you're here. That means so much to all of us. Not just here on the panel, but in the chat too. Because I know that if I don't see you guys, I miss you. So even if there's a time where you can't stay for the whole chat or the whole stream, drop a chat just saying, hi, just so we know you're okay. So this way I know you're okay and I won't be worried about you. Because I'm like Mom. I worry about you guys when I don't see you. But I also want to thank you all for the many ways that you support our channels. I think CluuStudio is my my producer for tonight. I do super appreciate all of the super chats that you guys have dropped tonight. That's amazing. And I've mentioned before that all the super chats, super stickers, memberships, all that, those funds, it goes towards getting better equipment for our channel so we can put out better content for you. And we want you to keep coming back. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of our family. And until next time, well, if you stay here, you'll go to Leah's channel. But the next time for, let's see, it would be Troy, will be on his channel tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. But until next time, good night and God bless.
Network, and it's all for